this week because I was thinking about, matter of fact, I even pointed it out to Deanie. I was watching TV and I was amazed at the after effects of some medicines. Have you ever noticed that on the side effects? This one, so help me said, may cause early limb loss. That's what I said. I said, who would take something that's going to cause early limb loss? I mean, the later I get, I need all I got. I don't need to be losing nothing. But there are some side effects to medicines and the things that we see. There's side effects to everything. As a matter of fact, as I said, I was thinking this week just about that, because even in marriage, even in jobs, there's always side effects. There's always something that is there that could be possibly a problem, something can develop from it. But as children of God, we trust God not only with the source, but with the side effects. Whenever I began to read this in Acts, I began to, first of all, I started in Acts chapter 1. And I started reading ahead because I realized that by the time we get to Acts 3, a lot of things have gone on. A lot of things have happened. Acts 1 is when Jesus has appeared to the disciples and he begins to talk to them. And he starts to lay out the events that's going to unfold. He tells them that he wants them to go tarry in a place called Jerusalem, at a house, and to gather themselves in there and wait until the coming of the Holy Spirit. They're confused, they're quandary, they're wondering what is it exactly he's talking about, and they're just trying to figure it out. Early Christians, early things that had never happened before, and they're trying to sort through the side effects. Some of them had divested themselves from Jesus, but Jesus had to show up. You know the story about Thomas had to show up and show himself out to them so that they could understand that he was the Christ. He was having to reprove himself to a group of men that should have known better. Peter is saying, well, you'll never die, I'll protect you. And we know that all that went on, right on up into the conclusion, but the whole time Jesus said, you don't understand. I must go away that the Holy Spirit may come. He tells us in Acts that it was necessary for them to believe that when they see him leave, they will see him come back. He lets us know in John that he says that it's important that I go away. He said, because if I do not go away, the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, won't come. He said, but when he comes, he's going to convict you of sin and judgment. He's going to bring with you the knowledge, and you're going to be able to acquire things by the Holy Spirit. He's going to teach you things. He's going to show you things. And he's putting all this into their minds, and now Jesus is gone and said, tarry until the Holy Spirit comes. And they're kind of in a point. What does he mean? What's he talking about until he comes? Is it going to be a great explosion, or what's going to happen? Well, by the time we get into Acts chapter 2, we find that the Holy Spirit has came. He comes to those who assembled themselves in the upper room, and they had gathered there at the request of Jesus. And as such, when the Holy Spirit came, the Bible said he filled the whole room in which they were sitting. And said he sat on them with tongues of fire. And they began to speak with tongues, other tongues. And the Bible said that it was so amazing that they went outside and was sharing the experience that they had. Now, during this time, it was a busy time in Jerusalem. And there would have been people gathered there from all tribes and nations. There probably, scholars tell us there could have been as many as 6 or 7 or 8 different kinds of languages there that required interpretation and for people to discern what they were doing in trade. But all of a sudden, when these men came out of that upper room and began to speak, they began to speak in the language that they knew. If you spoke Greek, they spoke Greek. If you spoke Hellenese, they spoke whatever it was that you spoke. They came out speaking that language and telling them about Jesus Christ.